As Iran deals with the aftermath of President Ebrahim Raisi's unexpected passing at a time of heightened regional tensions and internal unrest, funeral processions for him have started across the country on Tuesday. 5 days of national mourning have been designated by Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei in honor of Raisi, Foreign Minister Hussein Abdurrahman, and also 6 other persons who perished in the helicopter crash that occurred on Sunday in a remote area in northwest Iran. The incident wiped out 2 of the Islamic Republic's key political figures, raising questions about its leadership beyond Khomeini, its ultimate authority. Meanwhile, the crash of the helicopter carrying the Iranian president has raised several questions about its causes, whether it was accidental or deliberate, and the delays in finding the wreckage and announcing the fatalities, which took about 16 hours. Now, to discuss this, we are joined by Professor Farid Isaac, Department of Religious Studies, University of Johannesburg. Thank you for joining me. Now, how do you think the Iranian people will remember the late president, and what legacies do you think he left behind?
Well, thank you very much for having me. Look, the way the leadership is structured in Iran, Raisi, or Ayatollah Raisi, he was indeed the president of the country. But in Iran, it isn't the president that has the most power. It is really invested in the leader of the revolution. In this case, it is Ayatollah Khamenei. And so, yes, I mean, he was a significant person in Iran, but rather in relation to how presidents function in other parts of the world, he wasn't really nearly that influential. And so the system in Iran, it's a very stable system. I mean, they've had the same stable of governing for the last 40 years already. And given this, the stability that comes with it, I mean, within 50 days, the Iranian constitution says a new president will be elected. And it doesn't leave much to chance, because the assembly of experts that governs the country, it's a limited amount of people who are all ideologically very much on the same page. And so politically, for the Iranian people, there's going to be no serious consequences that emerges from the death in this accident of Ayatollah Ebrahim Raisi.
Also, just a follow-up to that, how will Raisi's death impact the power dynamics within the Iranian government and also the Islamic Republic's leadership structure?
Well, it's going to impact on it, and as I said, not very consequentially. There is now space for another president to emerge. And this president, of course, will be elected by the Iranian people. So here is a chance, if the Iranian, on the one hand, the Iranian population, if they want to indicate a shift from the relatively hard-line position that Raisi had, this is their time to do so. And on the other hand, the senior leadership in government, they actually determine who is eligible to be a candidate in the elections. And so to some extent, the outcome of the elections are going to be prejudged, because the body of experts, the Majlis al-Khubaran, that they call, this body of experts, they will make a very small pre-selection of candidates. And they will exclude from the ranks of eligibility anybody that has a serious ideological or a different kind of agenda than what the current ruling party has. And so the people that will be eligible for election will be very, very few. And leaders would make sure that they offer no real change. And so while the electorate has something to say, the electorate is very limited in who they can choose. So in this regard, I don't think that we can expect any significant change for the Iranian people, neither for that matter for their foreign policy.
Okay, just also a follow-up to that. Do you think the passing of the late president would impact the regional tension, particularly when it comes to the Middle East? I'm talking about neighbors like Syria, Yemen, even the ongoing crisis, the war, in Gaza between Israel and Hamas. Do you see that, impacting it in any way?
I'm afraid not, because the policy of the Iranian government, it is driven by the leadership that in the form of the supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, brought by him, and then different kinds of security or military entities which are also under his leadership. And so nothing will change under his leadership. Now, of course, what will happen is that Iran will be more keen to demonstrate to the world its stability. And in its keenness to demonstrate its stability, it may in fact become slightly more hard-lined more of a hardliner in the next 2-3 months. And this will have some consequences for the ongoing war on Gaza. But I think, if anything, the Houthis in Yemen, the Syrians, for example, and above all Hezbollah in the south of Lebanon, that they will go out of their way to establish that they are still in control and that nothing will change because of the accident that wherein Raisi and the foreign minister and a couple of other officials, that accident that led to their tragic death.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Professor Farid.